Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking about how I lost a good deal of money from my first Pokemon card scam. This other guy, I believe, likely scammed me, and you'll hear the story. So let's get to it. And for those watching my previous videos, they might be thinking, oh my gosh, you keep losing money, you keep getting scammed, it must be going horrible. And it is just the luck of the draw. Some people really just knock it out of the park when they're investing and flipping, and they just have a natural talent. Others, and this was my first ever Facebook/PayPal sale, and I did almost everything right, and just one wrong move made the mistake. I selected Facebook. I went to PayPal goods and services, and I studied the research, and I chose that rather than selling off Venmo or anything else for that buyer protection, just like all the videos describe. But one mistake made, which was allowing them to uh, ask me to ship to a different address than was on the invoice. That cost me huge. I thought, people are good-hearted, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It won't be a scam, right? And it ended up being one. So this really sucks because it was my first ever uh, sale off Facebook, and it was obviously already kind of anxious because it was my first ever sale, and I was already scared of scams, and I'm naturally very anxious. And so, I was that one little bit of benefit of doubt, he exploited it, and he filed a dispute claiming that he never received the card, even though the tracking number told me it was delivered, even though it was a local delivery, only 60, 70 miles away. And it was rather unfortunate. So I believe I bought the card. It was a Charizard Expedition 6 for around $100, and I sold it for about 150. And honestly, I think it was probably even less of a margin than that. I think I honestly just wanted to sell it so I could have funds for other purchases because the card was pretty weathered, and through my collecting, I realized I prefer mint cards to keep in my collection. And so I think I might have bought it for like 120, 130. So there really wasn't that much margin there. And I just wanted to kind of resell it. Anyhow, the guy, his name's Carlos Aguilar. He basically, and I'm thinking about just leaving like a link to a bunch of photos of our conversation in the description, just so other people can avoid working with him. Um, and you'll notice in my conversations that I gave him so much of the benefit of the doubt. I told, I was like, he really could have not received the cards because maybe someone stole it out of the mail. And I was very empathetic to him the whole time through, just because that's a possibility. And you don't want to just go pointing fingers at people. I like to see the humanity in others. However, I did bring it up with some of the largest Facebook uh, scam groups out there. These are groups. One's called International Buy, Sell, Trade, and these groups are dedicated to letting others know who are scammers in the world, so that you can be wary. So it's something where they'll post if they get scammed, and then whenever you buy and sell cards off Facebook or some other marketplace, you can search up their names and their emails and stuff just to see if this person has done it before, so that you can be wary. Anyhow, I posted my story on this group, and the vast majority of people are like, yeah, this is very likely a scam. It's very likely that he did receive his card rather than it got lost in the mail. I've bought tons and tons of Pokemon cards, and none of them have ever been delivered wrong. None of them have been snatched out of the mail or anything. And even the tracking number shows it landed in and delivered at that location. So he claims that it was stolen in the mail, and that's rather unfortunate. So essentially, he claimed this, and I was like, man, this really sucks. How can I help? Maybe, I'm willing to help however I want. Maybe USPS will, they can do something here, or maybe you weren't there, so they will deliver another day. But he went ahead and filed a PayPal dispute, and I tried to dispute it on my end, saying it got delivered. And unfortunately, since he asked personally for it to be delivered to a different address than the invoice. At the time, I didn't think too much of it. I thought, he's a good guy. He looks pretty good. It won't be a scam, right? So I went ahead and just did it that way. He had already paid his money, so I figured, not worth the effort to like cancel the order and then send another invoice just to make sure it was done right. And turns out he might have exploited that. So that was that. The PayPal dispute quickly ended in his favor because apparently it wasn't delivered to his address. I was frantic enough during the conversation. I was nervous enough because I did notice that after I sent the card. I was like, "Ooh, wait a second, that might be a big thing." So I actually messaged him and said, "Hey, I just noticed that. Could you like switch it?" And he said he added it to his account, his second address to his account somehow, but apparently that didn't matter. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Regardless, the invoice said something different. So PayPal quickly just ruled in his favor, and he got his money refunded. So I lost $155. We got refunded to him, and that's that. And so that's rather unfortunate. He got away with the scam, and I did what I could to kind of like make sure that it won't happen again. I think in the long run, these types of people, if they're trying to start a reputable business, or they try and really continue scamming, like their reputation will catch up to them, karma will catch up, and they'll be scorned by the community or just in the local business community. But since this is such a kind of small hobby thing, like it's tough. I posted his name and everything to the Facebook group, and I'm still giving him some benefit of the doubt. Now I think it's like 80% chance that it was a scam, 20% that it wasn't. And that's still more benefit of the doubt than most people would. But, my hands are tied. I showed him to the group, so if he ever buys or sells internationally or nationally, there's that to deal with. And then, now I've learned my lesson. I post I post more of the losses I have than the wins because I think those are bigger lessons learned. Now I have to make sure that the shipping address always matches what's on the invoice, and that's a big lesson learned. And just so like not everything I've done has been a loss. I currently am going through a sale, and it's a flip where I purchased a Mewtwo, which I really liked, but I think the Mewtwo prices will crash in the future, given how many are being sent to PSA to be graded. But I sold that for around $290, with which after all expenses, it's about a 50% gain. So there are flips that are positive, but unfortunately, certain scams like this wipe me out. So that's just to let you guys know that not all my videos are indicative of my general overall performance. It's not like because my videos all mention kind of losses and mistakes doesn't mean that all I've experienced are failures. But unfortunately, a lot of these big losses have wiped out pretty much a lot of my profits, and I'm starting from scratch again. It really, really sucks, and it really also sucks that it was my first ever PayPal transaction in that manner as a seller. And so, it makes me wary of doing it again, and it really sucks. And unfortunately, some people, they get a good headwind, and their first 10, 20, 30 sales are just so positive, and they're making money. And, I follow this Pokemon card reseller called Pokejebbo, and he's just killing it. He has just a natural talent with this. And so he has a natural headwind. His first 50 sales were probably very positive, and so he just keeps building off of that. But when it's the first sale really sucks, then it just stops right there. And so it's the question of, do you keep going, or do you just call it quits here? Do you take that loss and deal with it? So that's just something that, you have to deal with. And so it really sucks. I guess, it's a learning lesson. And I really just, I think the lesson here is um, I didn't there's giving people the benefit of the doubt and then doing things in a secure manner. And so unfortunately, um, I didn't do that. And that address thing is something I'll always do in the future. And in the moment, I thought it wasn't as big a deal because, oh, he already sent his money to me. And okay, he wanted it to be shipped to a different address. Not a big deal, right? Nope, that cost a lot. And unfortunately, um, it ended how it is. So that's the video. Still really sucks, really, really sucks. And not much I can do here. I think in the local community, like the local Facebook marketplace, I'll try and spread the word about his name, but how much can I do? Like I can message some of the other people selling, and that's about it. So there you go, and have a great day.